2000 to 2005, I struggled to maintain continuous sobriety. I thought I could never be different, but some people here loved me through it. While I was still drinking, I started attending the Women's Substance Abuse Recovery Group at the MAT, a place for freedom and recovery here at Quest. The leader of the group, Amy Watts, always treated me with genuine love and affection, and so did her apprentice, Julie Henderson. I remember being out on the road one time for work, and I called Julie to check in, and I was drunk. I pitifully said to her, "Will you still be my friend?" And she said, "I'll still be your friend. I'm not going anywhere." Well, that was the truth for her and so many other people in this community. I remember my last drink was on a Saturday at Keeneland, and with my friend Amy. And the next day I came into church, and I felt so ashamed and so small. But Amy and Julie both greeted me with hugs, and Amy forgave me for the way that I had acted the day before. They both took my hands and led me over to Helen Music, the leader of the MAT, who had also been on this roller coaster ride of me trying to get sober. I couldn't look Helen in the eyes, but she took my face in her hand and lifted my eyes up so she could look me in the eyes and tell me that she loved me, that I could get well, and that she would always be in my corner. These people continually loved me, even when I was really hard to love. They forgave me, they showed me who Jesus really is, and they were often Jesus with skin on for me, until I was finally ready to give my life to Christ in October of 2009. They showed me such unconditional love that I was ready to trust Him to love me, and I was ready to let Him control my life. My friends literally loved me to the foot of the cross.
I met Chris several years ago while both of our bands were playing shows here in the Lexington music scene and even going on tour together. And in 2006, we actually happened to be in a band together, and we've become pretty good friends when my wife left me that Christmas. I had long before that given up on church or anything having to do with it, but I started to call out to God as I fought my way through these hard times. So for a couple months, I tried to pay the mortgage on my own, but I asked Chris to move in with me. And of Easter 07 that year, he did, and I drunkenly agreed to go to church with him that Sunday. So I showed up here to Quest for the first time in church for 2 years. And for the next 6 months, I came with Chris every week. He would listen to my problems, stay up till all hours of the morning with me, go out with me, and just, spend time with me. He became like one of my brothers, and on more than one occasion pulled me out of the darkness that I found myself in. In September, I begrudgingly went to men's retreat. And because I couldn't pay for it myself, I found out later that Chris had actually paid for me. But he told me that he signed me up for some aid for it. On that retreat, on more than one occasion, like he had done so many times before, Chris helped to speak truth about Jesus' love for me into my life. And at the end of that retreat, I got to receive that love for myself. And Chris got to lead me to the feet of Jesus. Jesus used Chris and many others in my life to constantly pour out love on someone who thought he was completely unlovable. And just this summer, I got to ask him to be my best man as I got married again and stepped even more fully into the redemption that Jesus has been weaving throughout my life.
Growing up, I knew that families loved each other, but I thought it was because they had to, although something always felt wrong with the obligation of that. And I thought all families had the same dysfunctions as mine. Lots of yelling and screaming and fighting and hitting and drinking and divorce. But then on August 7th of 2005, I gave my life to Christ. And Jesus started shifting some huge things in my heart. And one of the things He started to radically redeem was my idea of what family looked like. See, Jesus gave me the gift of the Marshall family. It began when I started serving in Kids Quest, and I got to meet our kids pastor, Jim Marshall. And Jesus one day just told me, "Watch him. He's a good picture of a good dad." So I watched him. And then I kept getting opportunities to just serve around Jim. And then one day, he invited me to Monday night dinners with his family. And at Monday night dinners, I got to see a good picture of the way God created family to be. No one was perfect, but everyone loved and honored each other. Well, I kept coming back, and week after week, and even on vacations, I got to see the Marshall family celebrate each other's successes and support each other in hard times. See, I got to see a clear picture of the way God created family to be when you put God first and love comes naturally and not forced. God even let a significant part of dating my now husband be around Monday night dinners with the Marshalls. I thank Jesus all the time for these past 5 years with Pastor Jim and the entire Marshall family. Their faithfulness in loving me and including me has redeemed more in my heart than I can even comprehend. And really, Jesus used these people in all of our lives to give us a clear picture of how He really loves us. So thanks so much for listening to our stories.